Welcome back. Today we're talking about the PowerSmart PS5150. This is a 500 watt level power bank, and it was sent to me for this review in exchange for this review by the folks at PowerSmart. However, the opinions I'm about to express are mine and mine alone. Now, what is the PS5150? Well, it is, like I said, a 500 watt hour class of portable power station. There's a 461 watt hour lithium ion battery pack inside of this case. What's the difference? You've heard people talk about lithium ion and lithium iron phosphate are the two main batteries that are kind of taking over this space. Lithium ion is the most power dense version of these batteries that are available. This has a lot higher power to weight ratio than lithium iron phosphate. However, lithium ion does have a propensity to go full Hindenburg sometimes. It has much fewer recharge cycles available to it than a lithium iron phosphate battery set. It doesn't have quite as long of a service life. It does have more power to weight, and that's reflected in this thing being quite a bit lighter than something like the Bluetti EB55. Moving on to case construction, it is kind of a ruggedized feeling ABS case, and you've got some of these corners that have this nice rubber armoring on it. It definitely feels different from anything else in the space that I've felt so far. Outputs wise, you've got a 500 watt pure sine wave inverter with 2 AC output points. You move over here to the USB side, we've got 1, 2, 3 Qualcomm 3.0 USB-A's. These are the ones that have the higher voltage rating or the higher actual power output rating, and that's going to help you when you want to do things like quick charge, things that are capable of quick charging with this type of output. We've also got a USB-C that's rated for 100 watts output as well. That's something nice, like most laptops now have the brick that outputs an USB-C at 100 watts or less. You don't have to use the brick on the AC side. You could just put your MacBook right in here. And then finally down the line, you've got the obligatory DC outputs as well as your cigarette lighter plug. Now, something that this power station has that I haven't seen on a lot of different power stations is it has these nice dust covers for these kind of plugs. If you're an outdoorsy person, you're active, you got this bouncing around in the back of your vehicle, dust is always a concern. And like I said, this is the first manufacturer I've really seen that's gone to the effort of incorporating plugs for that dust on everything. I've only ever really seen it on things like the DC inputs on other manufacturers. You've got that here. Getting the power out is no problem. You got your power function on. You just turn on your DC, your USB, or your AC. You got a nice readout here that's going to give you things like your current power output, the amount of hours remaining, the voltage level, or the battery capacity that's left over. It gives you kind of a nice stacked vertical bar as well as an actual percentage readout. As far as getting the electrons out, you've also got up top the obligatory wireless cell phone charging pad. Something else they've done, which I really like, if you've watched any of my videos before, you've heard me gripe about the flashlights that they put on these things. Well, PowerSmart's done 2 things that I like. One, they've incorporated the pencil beam flashlight in a way that lines up with this handle, so if you actually needed to, you could actually use it as a flashlight going around, right? Number 2, and this is my favorite part, press the button again, you've actually got a floodlight facing out that's built into the handle that you can then use as an area light if you're working somewhere doing something, which I just love. I can't say enough good things about that feature built into here. And I know it's something small and just minuscule, but this is one of those added features that I actually see being something that I'd actually use instead of just a gimmick that's thrown on here. So good on you, PowerSmart. I really like that. That was a clever use of the space. As far as getting the electrons into this thing, well, that's where this falls short. It does include all of the usual suspects, which is nice. You've got all the means to connect with. So you have the obligatory power brick. And you've also got your connection for plugging it into a solar panel. It's a rather short cord though, just so you know. And then you've also got a plug for your cigarette lighter in your car to charge with. Now, that's all fine and dandy. However, the AC charging side really falls on its face. And it does so because it only has the ability to input 100 watts of power at one time. Something like the Bluetti EB55, its power brick inputs over 200 watts at once, meaning that this thing recharges in twice as long of a time as some of the other pieces out there in the market. Most everything else that I've encountered recharges at a rate of about 200 watts. So you're looking at 5 to 6 hours to fully recharge this thing on AC. Solar-wise or DC-wise, not quite sure. I haven't played with that too much yet. I know that a cigarette lighter plug in your car is only going to output about 100 watts, so count on that being the standard. No matter what you do, that's the most that's going to come into this. Recharging this is a lot slower than it should be. Also, there's only one input for power coming into the machine, which means you can't double up like you could with something like the different Bluetti models that actually allow you to use AC input plus a DC input at the same time to kind of boost that power input. You just fix to that one hole, which really limits this thing, I feel like. I want to do an experiment just to see if it's the machine or if it's the input side. Because there's one thing that I will say for this input is that it's deadly quiet. Like, we're talking Red October quiet. This thing does not have any internal fans engaging that I could hear, nor any fans inside of the power brick engaging as it was recharging, and that's probably due to the lower wattages that are being used. That being said, I do have the power brick for my EB55A, and I wonder, will this take that 200 watts? Now, kids, don't try this at home. I'm a stupid idiot on YouTube who's just experimenting. This is not something that you should be doing, but I'm going to see if this works. Nope, we're still topping out at only 98 watts, which means even with using something that puts 200 watts into a rival unit, well, this thing won't handle it. So that tells me the maximum input rate into this machine is only ever going to be 100 watts. So plan accordingly. At 460 watt hours in this battery, you're looking at 5 to 6 hours charge time, no matter what you do, best case scenario. That's really the biggest con to the whole thing. It does come with a 2-year warranty, and any kind of warranty claims are held through PowerSmart's internal warranty claims department, and I haven't called them, don't know anybody who's tried to use them. But that 100 watt input, man, that really, it's almost a deal breaker for me, to tell you the truth. When there are so many choices on the market, slow input like that, I guess if you were counting on needing AC input on a frequent basis, I would say steer clear of this. There's better options for you. Now, all things being equal, if you're just using a 100 watt solar panel or charging this from your car quite frequently, then I would say go ahead and buy it, because I do really like the flashlight functionality and the features of this, and the compact size and weight. I think this is a great option for an outdoor space or something that's going to be used in a vehicle quite frequently and not charged in the home. Like, I wouldn't make this your house backup one, but if you were going to be, like I said, outdoors camping, this is probably a good unit for you, especially with the considerations that went into it with the dust covering, the ruggedized case, the lights, and the wireless charging pad on the top. I think it's a great option for camping, but a home backup, I think you got better options out there. Till next time, be good.